Now I want to talk about OKC. This team is 23-1, and I'm seriously wondering whether or not this team can win 73 games. I didn't think that it would be done again. I just thought with better players, more parity in the league, that 73 wins would not be reached again. But it looks like the Thunder have a pretty good shot, and they have an offensive rating of 121.4 and a defensive rating of 105.4. For context, the 2015-2016 Warriors had a 114.5 offensive rating, and a 103.8 defensive rating. Currently, the Thunder have the seventh highest offensive rating of all time. Four of the teams ahead of them are actually included in this season. I know that offensive rating, you can't take that stat too seriously and you have to take it with a grain of salt, but I still think it's a good stat to look at. I mean, as we move further and further along in the NBA, there's going to be a new team who has the new highest offensive rating of all time. But I think offensive rating shows, like, kind of how good your team is. But the Thunder do have a 16.1 point differential. The Warriors, that 2015-2016 season where they won 73 games, had a 10.7 point differential. Although the Warriors had a higher strength of schedule, they had like the most back-to-backs. The Thunder have had a much easier strength of schedule. Uh, so that's something that you kind of have to give the edge to the Warriors, but the Thunder have been way more banged up. Jalen Williams missed the first few months of the season. Chet Holmgren has kind of been in and out. He's playing more recently, consistently, and Lou Dort and Harnstein have been out. So you got to give credit to OKC in that regard, and they have a lot of good depth. And I want to talk about SGA. It's kind of crazy how this guy was MVP last season, but he's actually gotten better, kind of like Steph in that 2015-2016 season. Not as vast as that, but he's still certainly gotten better. He's averaging 32.8 points per game, 6.4 assists per game, and 4.7 rebounds per game on 55.6% from the field, 44.3% from three, and 88.1% from the free throw line. And he has a good chance to be the first player since Steph to average 50, 40, 90, averaging 30 points a game, which before Steph had never been done before. KD did it one season where he was averaging 28 points per game. Larry Bird did it one season where he was averaging 29.9 points per game, and Steve Nash did it where he was averaging like 15, 16 points per game, but nobody ever did it averaging 30 points per game. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has a chance to be the second player to do that since Steph. One thing I'll say about Steph is that when he averaged 50, 40, 90, he was shooting 11 threes a game, which is more impressive. Shai is averaging around 5 threes attempted per game, so a little bit less in attempts, but still, nonetheless, still crazy to do 50, 40, 90. As of now, the Thunder deserve to be the favorites in the West and just the favorites overall to win the championship. I know this is still a little bit crazy. I've said this before, but I still think that the Lakers, Nuggets, and Rockets have a good chance of upsetting them. I guess not a good chance. They have a puncher's chance. I'd put Denver first in that class. Jamal Murray has elevated his game, and Denver definitely has a better bench than they had before. Lakers, I like the talent, of course, with Luka, LeBron, and AR, but I'm going to be interested to see how they continue to reintegrate LeBron. He was awesome against Philly. 29 points, definitely his best game of the season. It looks like he's starting to get his feet under him, but Luka and AR like to dominate the rock. But you know what? LeBron will fit in, as he said in his media scrum, but I'm just interested to see how it'll look in the playoffs. Luka likes to dominate the ball, and the Thunder have a bevy of defenders to throw at him. And, against Boston, Luka struggled because, he of course had a knee sprain, so he was playing banged up, and you got to give him credit for that. But B, Boston had a bevy of guys to throw at him, whether it was Brown, Tatum, Holiday, Derek White, and they also had a bunch of ball handlers to go at him. So it'll be interesting to see if the Thunder can use that formula, but I think Luka probably has a better team with the Lakers than he did with the Mavericks that season. They went to the NBA Finals. And it'll be interesting to see if Reeves can come through. I mean, he's played pretty decently in the playoffs, but it'll be interesting to see if he can play well against a team like OKC, which is just a well-oiled machine. Denver, of course, is also kind of an well-oiled machine. like I talked about, Jamal Murray's been awesome. I think he should make his first All-Star game this season. They got more bench, not more than OKC though. Nobody has more bench than OKC. Starting five for starting five, I think Denver can match up pretty well with OKC, but it'll just depend on which stars come through and which bench comes through. The Rockets, on the other hand, they have one of the top offenses, but they get a lot of second chance opportunities. Amin Thompson, it looks like he's still trying to figure out his role, but the Rockets, at least the number one and number two options, are solidified with KD and Şengün. But the Rockets not having another ball handler concerns me for the playoffs, where it just becomes more physical, and I don't trust Aaron Holiday and Reed Shepherd in the playoffs. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I just don't trust those guys. And I know that the Rockets are winning games, and Şengün is kind of their point guard in the half court, but I still think that you need another ball handler. But playoffs are a different animal. Physicality gets taken up a notch, and the season is still a long ways away from being over. We'll see how much OKC can separate themselves from the rest of the pack, and if Houston, uh, the Lakers, and Denver have a chance to like kind of like near get have a chance to get near them. But I think OKC will probably still be the number one seed. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys.